things. It wasn't like a regular English class where you were given something to do every day. It was like a lot of freedom.
We were allowed to like do it ourselves instead of having someone say, oh, so this is due today, that's due next week. We got to decide for ourselves.
You don't really have to like follow that many rules. We just sit down every day and take out the computers and do it.
Social media. Okay, that's a big thing that our generation is into, and so we got to research further into it. We got to learn how to use it and engage it in a way that's very professional.
The students are working on creating an interactive magazine. The topic is around digital citizenship, and I thought that was a very good topic considering everything that's going on with teens today and cyberbullying, and looking at social media sites, looking at copyright, a number of issues that are part of their daily life. And we also looked at case studies of things that happened with other teens, about things that they posted and repercussions years down the road. So an example, a student posting something and years down the road, they weren't able to get into university because of something they posted. And we looked at different jobs today and how employers have people paid to actually look at websites and search a student before they even come in and do an interview. So we talked about importances of things that they post and thinking before they post and not.
Well, we use technology every day, so it's kind of hard not to care about it.
They're taking something they know, so they have the knowledge of it, but they're learning a little bit more about it. So through some of my conferencing, some of the students talked about privacy settings on some of the sites they used, and they didn't realize the importance of the privacy settings. And now they're gone through and actually changing their accounts, to make it a little more secure. I think a lot of it is they knew the expectations beforehand. So we, after the mini lessons, we set up the project, and I ended up having a booklet with everything laid out. We talked about, how they're going to be assessed with it, how the conference is going to work, and then I also showed them exemplars from other years, so that they had, an understanding of what was expected of them. The other thing I think that was important is that they're learning through technology. So they're actually trying different apps and I'm giving them value for that. So when I sit down, one of the questions I ask them is, what have you done creative with technology? What have you done that's a little different, and how have you communicated your ideas?
We made a video about you are what you tweet, and a banana kept getting rottener and rottener because it was tweeting out mean things.
My favorite part basically was, the videos. And
I just learned how to use the MacBook in different ways.
I learned a lot by just doing the project.
With the newcomers, some of them I had them working actually in their own language and validating their language. Technology is often a universal language in that they know how to use the computer, or they know a little bit about it, and a lot of them use Skype and use a number of ways of communicating through technology to talk with people back in their own countries. So they were able to produce pieces in their own language, and then they would translate it using Google Translate or different types of translating programs.
It's really important that a student's first language is validated because it establishes a sense of belonging, a sense of community for students.
Other students talked about video games. They're big into video games. And they were able to screen cap them playing video games and tell me a little bit about what was happening in the game. So that was able to get me a little bit of English writing that I could assess, and I could assess their process of how they actually went about it in their own language and then transferred it into English.
So my favorite part of the project was working with my friends and stuff like that, and I also like the fact that I learned how to use a new type of technology.
I like working with my friends and creating something without guidelines, so we can create it all by ourselves.
MacBook, how to use the MacBook a little bit.
It is a group project, but it's also an individual project in that the students end up working on their own, but they have group members beside them that they can ask for assistance, and that gives me the time that I can go around and be a facilitator, and the students are learning from each other. The students are constantly reading things about real life things that are happening with technology, happening with social media, happening in the world today, and they're questioning everything, and now they're actually bringing it back into their own life.
I learned a lot about cyber safety, and also learned how to be safe when making online purchases.
I wanted it to meet all the English outcomes together, to integrate them. I wanted it to have speaking and listening, and I wanted it to have the reading and writing, and I also wanted it to have a critical literacy piece that they were going to think about, and it would end up benefiting their own lives.
Everybody's magazines look great, and it went well. I think that the whole concept of the class being independent like this for 6 weeks, it was a good idea.
It makes me feel good because they, at the end, feel good about their final product, and they have something to be proud about. And I told them this is something they can use for interview skills, that if they don't have any experience for a job, they can take this and they can bring it to an employer and say, this is what I'm capable of. This is